How's it going, Lou?
Hey, Nick.
Hey, thanks again for those photos. Those were a big hit on the page.
Gotcha now.
Oh, there we go. Give it a couple more minutes and we'll get started. Everybody have a good 2 weeks. Been a bit.
Still camping.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Some of us didn't get married recently, but some of us did. So how did that go?
It was great, honestly. Best day of my life. Good
All
stuff.
right.
Yeah. It was a great time. It was all inside, but it rained and even so, it was still great. So no complaints.
Good. I'm glad she let you play with us, even though you're a long ways away.
Yeah. Oh, all right. How's the weather been up there? Has it started to cool off?
Cool and rainy.
No.
Yeah, it's cooling off. The lake's going down.
I imagine it goes down pretty quick once it's open, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going down pretty quick.
Give it 4 more minutes for people.
I dropped Dick off in Portsmouth today, so he's in Cape Coral by now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When are you heading down? In a couple weeks?
November 15th.
November. Okay.
I'm gonna fly Breeze. Have you heard of that? Breeze Airways?
I think it's a new one, right? Or at least to
Yeah.
Portland.
It's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's new from Portland. I can't believe the price of the flight that I got on the 15th.
Good.
$69.
Oh, that's excellent.
I hope they give you a parachute. She has to
What-
sit in with the luggage.
Some of the flight deals that they have coming out of Philly's airport is crazy too. Like you can fly to like I think it was like Tampa. They have like these weird deals where you can fly to like Tampa for like $49 or something like that. But I mean, it's like I don't think you get much of a pick of like when. You just kind of if you're going soon or something like that. But or Nashville, they have
Whenever
really cheap flights.
Whenever I try to follow up on those like $29 deals or $37 deals, I just go off on a hunt. I never really get to find any flights that fit that uh, criteria.
Yeah, it's probably like a real bait and switch type thing, honestly.
Exactly.
I've also read too that if you search for like plane tickets on your like on like Google Chrome, you know how it like remembers what you search for, and like if you then you
Right.
search again like 2 days later, the prices will
Right.
go up. But I don't know how accurate that is. Maybe I'm just talking, but
I've heard that too. And what you got to do is erase your cookies or get rid of the
yeah,
cookies for that,
yeah,
then come back on because they know you're searching. And when you come back on, they want to up it.
internet, huh?
Hmm.
Well, all right. I don't see anybody else trying to get in, but we can just get started. So updates from me. So I did email Tristan about the establishing that water monitoring program like that we had talked about last meeting. Great idea. Going to follow up. I think he might be on a vacation. I got a automated response back that he was out of the office when I followed up earlier this week on Monday. So I'm gonna give it a few, probably until Friday, and I'll follow up with him again. I have his number too, so I can give him a call. Um, and yeah, just go from there. But that's still the plan over the winter is really to just kind of like we talked about, establish that program going forward, and um, that way when the spring happens, we have that stuff lined up, maybe a little schedule lined up, the details of like when and where maybe we should be taking some of that data, and of course like the specific data necessarily too. And if we might need to get specific equipment, I'm not entirely sure, but I will have more on that in the process when I connect with Tristan. So that is
Well,
going.
we'll need a Ziki disc
Yeah, I don't know.
and its scope.
Do they provide any of that material, Dan? Do you know? Or
I believe they do. I mean,
okay.
I've got one.
Yeah.
I,
I know we had talked about maybe getting some other points of data too. And I don't know if there might be specific tech we might need for that too. So, but yeah, no, it's good if they do provide some of it. So,
well,
uh,
I used to take DO also,
oh yeah,
and
yeah.
I've got the equipment for that, but it's my equipment is a reagent kit,
Oh,
but I've
okay.
got the vessel to take these samples from whatever depth we want to try.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I'm gonna put you down and I'm gonna connect with you when I get to that point with Tristan for sure. And I mean, I you're a great resource, Dan. I'd love to try to help you, or I'd love for you to try to help us maybe train up on some of that stuff for the people who want to actually take the measurements. I know we do have a couple people too that are interested in have the boats necessary that they might be willing to take people out on, and when we nail down that schedule too, that'll be super useful. So
Yeah, to be trained and certified, Tristan will have to do it.
oh, he'll have to train us. Okay,
Oh yeah, because although I've been doing it a lot longer than him, I still had to get recertified every 3 years.
was there a cost associated with that, Dan, or kind of like a
No,
class you just? No, okay,
no, there's no cost. In fact, I believe my equipment for the Clarity was given to me.
oh great.
The everything else, well, all the other equipment for the DO, I had to buy.
Oh, okay. I don't suppose you remember how much that might have cost when you bought it, no?
Uh, the the DO reagent kits were, I don't know, $40 a
Okay.
year, 40 or 50, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
What's DO stand for?
Dissolved
Dissolved
oxygen.
oxygen.
All right. So I'm gonna connect with JD to get the meeting minutes from the last meeting, the dam commission meeting and stuff. And also the one before that too. And let's see. Oh, Justin, I don't know if you want to talk about the cleanup. That's starting this weekend, right?
Yeah, so I tried to cross post it on multiple websites that I could find for Sabattus Pond Partners, the fishing information, a community page. Um, I actually have, sorry, I have it in the other room. I'm at work tonight.
Oh, no worries.
I have probably 15 businesses in Sabattus in green that I've dropped the flyer off. They were willing to tape it up near their entrance or on the community board at the gas stations. Both Sabattus and Green town offices, it's posted, and I left a bunch of flyers by the door for people to take. I have not been to Wales yet to leave it in the town office because they have weird hours and it just didn't work on my schedule this week.
Yeah.
And also, there's really no businesses in the town of Wales. But it's been up, it's been posted. I've had a couple comments on people think it's a good idea. I've had people tell me where we should pick up trash, so I'm hopeful that maybe they would like to come and join us
Sure.
on this weekend. I did last night before it got dark out. I did go out on my dock and I had probably about 6 inches of shoreline showing. So hopefully this weekend it'll be down even further. Obviously, right, this weekend I don't expect it to be very far down, but the following weekend it should be down to where it's going to be, and we can get people out and motivated to pick it up. As far as reaching out to me directly via my email address that I put on there, I have not received anything yet. So we'll just kind of stand by and wait to see what happens with that.
Sure, yeah. I can put it on our Instagram too. And I can send out a couple email blasts to list, and I can also make a couple more Facebook posts too within that time frame and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely out there. Some people are talking about it, but whether that translates into action this weekend and next weekend, we'll have to see. I definitely plan on probably not hitting my cove because I usually do that anyway. One person did mention the marshy area across from Long Beach.
mhm.
And I happen to notice right kind of where you turn off on that little side road there. It looks like somebody dumped about 15 plastic milk containers out there. So I
Wow.
do plan on trying to hit that area either this weekend or next weekend. But if anybody wants to join, let me know. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see what the community involvement is.
Excellent. Okay, great. Yeah.
Justin, was it you who coordinated with the transfer stations?
Yeah, I reached out to all three towns, spoke with the town managers in Greene and Sabattus, and then Monmouth. I spoke with the transfer director, where Wales takes their trash. He was going to get back to me because the town manager was on vacation last week, and I haven't heard back from him yet. But he was fully on board with it on a case by case basis, kind of like Green was. Sabattus was the best. They're like, yeah, dump whatever you want, just show proof of residency. They were more than willing to help out with the project. So
Nice.
it was yeah, it was well received by everybody, which is encouraging.
Yeah, definitely. And like even if this year's is a little bit of a low turnout, like it's about just that consistent like um presence and making some buzz about it and stuff like that. So I think it's a solid good start, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Is there any way maybe we could get the town's social medias to post this stuff? I know they have much larger followings than us right now. I think we're sitting at actually like 111 or something on our Facebook group, but
I mean, I could certainly reach out and ask them if they'd be willing to do that. One of the things, I stopped at the credit union the other day and dropped off a sheet, but they were super busy. I didn't get a chance. I might reach out to them again and see if they could put it up on their sign.
oh, okay.
Because
Yeah.
that's quite a bit of vehicular traffic that goes through that intersection. One of the things that I thought of, Nick, actually for you was you mentioned previously that you'd been in touch with RSU 4 for
Mhm.
like his science class stuff. I know my daughter's in high school and they have to do like community service.
Yeah.
I didn't know if reaching out to the high schools would be a good option for, hey, if somebody needs some community service hours, go pick up some trash.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that's
I-
honestly an excellent idea. I remember that was a requirement for me to graduate too back in like '09. So I think I've spoken with the vice principal at the high school before when I was interning in Sabattus. So maybe I could just reach back out and see if it might be something somebody's interested in. So
Yeah, and I mean, whatever helps. And I mean, if somebody's got to check off some hours, I mean, a couple hours worth of work from, a bunch of kids would be super helpful.
yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great idea. Awesome.
So,
Any other? Oh,
all
yeah,
right, Nick,
go.
you were going to reach out to RSU 4.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Do you want me to reach out to, I think it's, what is it, Levitt High School? Is that where Green goes?
Yes,
That's
yes.
50. That's 52. SAD 52, or
Yeah.
it's an RSU.
All right. So
Idiot.
tomorrow, I'll call their like high school office and just see about maybe sending that out send them a flyer or get an email address, and then guidance counselor or whoever can blast that out to seniors if they need some public service hours.
Awesome. Great. Any other thoughts or comments or inclusions anybody wants to talk about for that?
The clearing off of the mountain, that's going morning, noon, and night. What the heck's going on over there?
Any Georgia and Justin were following up on that. Justin, any more updates from the last time?
No, I don't have any more updates other than what Georgia talked about a couple of weeks ago with Shane, the forest ranger. I plan on seeing her this weekend, so we might kind of touch base a little bit about that. I don't have any more. One of the things I would like to try to do, a friend of mine has a drone. I would like to get that and send that up just to take some aerial pictures, because I've tried from the ground and it doesn't do it justice. Looking at it with your own two eyes versus a picture on the cell phone. But it's very dramatic.
Yeah, it certainly is from the pictures that people have taken from the lake and shown me. Hold on, Tom, I'm gonna try to find George's email real quick, just to do a quick recap. Essentially, yeah, they've contacted the towns, and they've reached out to a couple of people at the state, and people at the state are looking into it. As of right now, I think it's some forward progress, considering if we weren't asking those questions, they probably wouldn't have done those second or third looks. And in the future, I definitely would like to get more involved, or have a more established relationship with the planning boards of each of the communities. Try to like have these things considered, at least the pond considered in that way. And for example, like the erosion control around it and things like that in the future. So it's still ongoing, and we'll try to get some more updates too. So
You can hear the heavy equipment going 8 o'clock at night, and it's dark as can be.
really,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That is, oh, actually I have one more update. So the people that I've been communicating with at the state about that, potentially taking advantage of the 604B grant, they are still kind of planning to try to talk to us in October to see where we stand on that. I have followed up, so I'm just waiting on a response from there. I think they're trying to get all their ducks in a row, and when that happens, they will be presenting a couple of, like, a short presentation for us at one of our meetings, and then kind of even potentially talking about next steps moving forward, if we decide to take that route too, and help try to create a watershed plan with that 604B grant money. So that is still in progress, but I just wanted to give you all an update on that. And that is all I have for now. How did the dam commission meeting go? Lou and Dan, I know Justin, you went to. Ken, I think you went as well.
Yeah,
Totally curious on that. I love the pictures that of you guys opening up the dam last weekend. So
sounds like they're on the right track. Trying to get funding, trying to go the right direction.
yeah,
It's just
The
one of those
meeting
things.
was well attended.
oh,
Yeah.
it was. Hey, that's good.
Yeah, there was at least a dozen people there for my group.
Wow,
I
that's
think
excellent.
I think there were 9 people from my road.
Really good.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that's good. That's a public meeting. It's important. I'm glad people were able to go. Dan and
I
Lou.
think
Yeah.
we were well receptive too.
Oh, good. I know with that vote coming up too, it's got to be a big deal to have people engaged and involved as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be coming up next summer.
The vote in the towns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be coming up at town meetings.
All right. Any forward progress on the grant for more funding on those things, Dan, or anything like that?
They're working on that brick grant. I think we've got to hire a grant writer,
Okay.
because from what I'm told, that that grant is elaborate.
It sounds like the best road to go as far as getting somebody to write it that knows what they're talking about. I think they made the right decision doing that.
Yeah, I called my daughter and asked her if they had a grant writer, but she doesn't, but she does have contact with a grant writer, so I got the name and forwarded that to JD, and he's looking into it.
Nice. Do you guys have to send out an RFP or anything for that type of thing, or?
I don't know if I don't think so.
Yeah.
We can hire a grant writer.
Yeah, no, I just didn't know because you guys are quasi-municipal, right?
Yeah, so I don't know.
The commission has the money to cover it.
Would Nick be considered a candidate if there was, you don't care?
No, I mean, I was just offering my help if anybody wanted it or anything like that. If you guys are going a different direction, please feel free to. Yeah, no offense taken or anything. So
I got the impression that they thought it might be more complicated than anybody wanted to ask you to do. Dan, did I read that right?
Yeah, you got that right.
oh, okay.
It may be
That's one
more involved than we want to impose on you about.
Oh,
that's one of those documents that needs to be worded properly from start to finish. And
yeah.
somebody needs to know how to write that,
Okay.
because we're also on a national platform.
Yeah,
We got a lot of competition, so we need to stand out. And
absolutely. Yeah.
that's what a grant writer their profession would be to do that.
Certainly. And there's a lot of great people out there for sure. So,
You have
yeah.
experience at that, Nick?
I know how to write grants. I'm an excellent writer. But from that scale, I have not done anything from that scale that would be necessary. I mean, if you guys needed help and you weren't looking to pay somebody, I would certainly offer any expertise I had. But if you guys are looking to pay for somebody, a professional, maybe with more time, or I mean, if that's the route you want to go to, that's completely fine. So,
Well, this is all new, Nick, because we just decided it last Wednesday. It's been a week.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know where JD has gone, but I know I forwarded a name to him.
Okay. I mean, I would be more than happy to take a look at what the grant is you're trying to apply for and take an estimate there. But those things are sometimes they can be very technical. Sometimes they also require like data for supporting evidence and like and specific formatting and things like that too. So, but yeah, I mean,
and that's why I gave him one name, but
yeah.
they are searching elsewhere. Oh yeah, I think we know there are professionals out there,
Mhm. Yeah, no, there certainly are. Yeah.
and I guess the feeling is we've so far lost 6.
6 grants.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or we've applied for 6, and we've won 0. So
So
It
for
is
this
a
grant,
very
as I understood what was being said was that this brick grant, if I understand it, was that we were going to have to show mitigation.
we have to show mitigation.
Yeah, that's where the
That's all they'll fund is mitigation.
mitigation for what?
what happens downstream. We need to get.
Yeah.
Like resilience and community resilience and mitigation and of like future problems and stuff like that, or future
downstream.
Yeah.
We're mitigating future problems.
What they're looking at is what's going to happen if the dam fails. And this will prevent what?
Yep. Yeah.
Look, they're talking about 1,000-year floodplain.
Well, yeah, 1,000-year floods are pretty common nowadays, honestly.
Dan, I missed. I was there on time, but I missed. Who is Casey?
Casey is DMR, Department of Marine Resources.
And they want a fish ladder.
They want a fish ladder. but we're not including a fish ladder. Fish ladder isn't mitigation.
But he's still, seems to be a player
He wants a
with
fish
his
ladder.
project.
He wants a fish ladder.
Yeah, it
They
sounded
want
like
to
he
put
was,
in a
sounded like he was gonna try to get the money for that.
Right.
Well, it goes like this. He's going to try to get the money for a fish ladder. Look, this started years ago, quite a few years ago. And I think that came up at the meeting. First, we were talking to the Atlantic Salmon Federation, and they wanted a fish ladder, but they went away. You know, all of a sudden, we heard nothing from them. And the DMR came up, and when we first started talking to DMR, it was they want a fish ladder, and they will help us with rebuilding the dam. But about a year into it, all of a sudden, they want the fish ladder, but they won't help us to rebuild the dam. But they still want the fish ladder.
I was
How-
under
So-
the,
Yeah.
well, I was under the impression that they would help us with the dam if we allowed the fish ladder, and this whole project would go easier if we just built in the fish ladder with the estimate.
No,
Not the case.
not the case. It might go easier. That's true. It might go easier if the fish ladder is attached to it.
Right.
But they will not assist with the construction of the dam. That is our cost.
Wouldn't the project be built at the same time, repaired at the same time?
Well, that was the plan. In fact, the plans that we have for the dam include the fish ladder.
Hmm.
That
And the
was the engineering. The original engineering is the dam with the fish ladder attached. And we've asked for the fish ladder, a set of plans of the dam only.
But I don't
Wouldn't-
think, I didn't, it didn't seem to me like Casey was hearing that.
Yeah, Casey was hearing that. He's heard it repeatedly.
It seemed our success rate would be higher if we included it with the dam, and cheaper for the towns, according to Casey, according to Joe McLean. That it would be easier if we included it. Better resolution. I don't know.
Okay, the brick grant, from what I'm hearing from MEMA, the brick grant won't fund that fish ladder.
Okay.
That's why we got to look at mitigation. I was in the meeting with them, and mitigation was a big thing. So mitigation is repairing or building on either side of the dam to stop any chance of erosion around the end of the dam.
Sorry.
Oh.
So, yeah,
And we're looking for we're trying to, like I mentioned, we may be able to add the skim gates as better control of the dam and of the water. That may be added into mitigation. That's why we need the grant writer. to see what we can add in for mitigation.
Yeah, so I just pulled it up on the screen to share. Let me know if you need me to zoom in a little bit more, but BRIC literally just stands for Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities.
Thank you.
Yeah, a large portion of the research that I did was about, I did a resilience assessment of Sabattus Pond watershed. So that's funny, but yeah, it is a federal FEMA grant. Do you apply through the state or do you just apply through FEMA directly? I know you
Well,
said
she
you
said that we're going into the national, so it has to be through FEMA.
yeah.
So you've already worked on this kind of stuff, Nick?
Like the large portion of what my research was based off of, what I presented to you all and what's on YouTube was based off of a resilience assessment that I conducted. And it's literally about kind of forecasting and thinking about what future problems could possibly happen within the system, which is like the watershed community. And then also taking an account of existing social structures, physical structures like the environment, and also taking into account like infrastructure and like how things could affect this, how something seemingly insignificant could impact this type of a thing, and finding those connections there. I don't know if you all remember that really like weird chart that I had showed way back when, but I can pull it up. And it shows how things are interconnected. And tackling just one thing at a time doesn't necessarily build resilience because so many things are affected by each other. And hold on one second, I can pull it up to.
From the sound of it, Nick, a lot of your research could be easily worked into somebody with writing a grant.
It
saving them a
possibly
lot of
could.
legwork.
Yeah, and I'd certainly hand over everything that I have.
It sounds like you've got a lot of the information that they're going to need.
Yes.
So mitigation downstream is just one piece of resilience.
So it's more or less mitigation of like future impacts. So think of it more of like on a 100-year timeline. Like you want to build something that or the dam commission would want to build something that's not only thinking about the needs now, but thinking about the needs of the future. So like, for example, and I know this might be somewhat politically contentious, but the impacts of climate change suggest that without like climate change mitigation, Maine is expected to be wetter and warmer. Wetter in meaning more precipitation or high precipitation events like 1,000-year floods or 100-year floods could possibly increase with frequency. So you'd want to build specifics for whatever you're constructing, whether it be a dam or even like a public building, and incorporate that thought process into your planning. And I think that from my understanding of those types of FEMA grants, the resilience grants, they usually like to see that type of forethought inside applications. Yeah, this right here. Hold on, let me share the screen over here instead. Here we go. You guys see this big chart over here?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was a summary of like my specific resilience findings and like specific resilience of Sabattus Pond's ability to absorb like unknown system shocks or unknown like potentially even disasters or just strange events that happen and still functionally remain in its current eutrophic state. And these are the things that I found during my research of like other academic papers that showed had impacts on each other. So like, recreational use of a pond or a lake or a fresh body of water can be impacted by algae blooms, which is why you have this arrow right here. And that algae blooms could then impact the taxa present, the amount of animals in a pond. And that's why that arrow goes to there. And then that the amount of fish in a pond could impact its recreational level. And then that's why this arrow goes down to there and so on. So it's just like having that forethought and trying to make those connections as best as you can. And it's it's difficult because I mean, nobody knows what the future will hold. An example of that now is I know I've talked about before the challenges that the Sabattus Water and Sanitation District are facing because of the amount of nutrients in Sabattus Pond. They do use water from Sabattus Pond in Sabattus River that comes down, not as water that we drink in the community, but as water that they use in their process of, sewer and water treatment. And since that contains higher levels of phosphorus, and the state also increased their amount of regulations that wastewater phosphorus can have in it. That's required them to have that $12 to $16 million fix that they are now currently trying to find grant funding for. So that's an unseen impact that just the nutrient loading in the town or in the pond has had that nobody expected it to happen. You know what I mean? And it's just like having that forethought there. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, but the DEP lowered
Yeah, they did.
threshold.
But that's also a social factor too that nobody thought about
Right.
doing. So I mean that's something to consider too, because political factions change quite frequently in state government. So that is a social impact, and you can see on this that I have economic down here in the middle, social factors right there, and biophysical as well. So I mean that's kind of incorporating the three trifecta right there of like the different types of I guess I would call them regimes, but like current states of being, I guess is a better term.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the Sabattus Sewer District puts out their outflow is better than the Sabattus River,
Yeah,
what's
and
coming out of the lake.
isn't it too based off the speed of the waterway that they're putting into is the amount that they can dump in or something like that too?
Yeah, that's why we increased our minimum flow from 2.5 to 3.3. But the dam flows minimum of 10 CFS anyway, just through leakage.
And the only reason why I bring it up, it's not that it's just things that like nobody really they're called unknowns. Like you just don't know what you don't know. And it's just like the resilience assessment that I conducted, and I think I've talked about it on this before too. Like eventually I'd like to have as part of the watershed plan that we maybe create, go through the process of conducting a resilience assessment itself, but with more than just me, essentially, because I'm just one perspective. Even though I produced that like 50-page resilience assessment, it's just my perspective. So doing that again, but with a lot more people, is where you get that really good like thought process. I really do think more minds are better on those types of things. So, but yeah.
Hey, Dan, whose interests were the fellow named Joe representing?
Joe is an engineer. So he is the engineer that we've hired to design the dam with the fish ladder on, because he's self-employed. He owns a company, the engineering firm, but he works with the DMR. So he was representing himself.
He seemed very influential at that meeting.
He knows what he's talking about. I think he's a good engineer. He knows his way. He knows what he has to do.
Sounds like he's got the contacts to know what needs to be done to get things done.
Yeah, I forget which company he worked for, an engineering firm, before he went on his own. But I almost see it was Wright and Pierce. but I'm not sure of that.
Well, he's also got contacts in the construction industry too, to get the right people to
He
bid on the
does.
job.
He does. He knows who works on he knows the best companies to work for on the dams.
Yeah, no, I was impressed with the meeting overall. It sounds like you guys are on the right track. And it's just a long process. And
Yeah.
you're still in the baby phases.
Yeah, it's a long process, and we're right now I think we're on year 3,
Wow.
and we've been moving along, but it takes time. But I think you were all at the meeting. You see that we've now we've gone to monthly meetings rather than bi-monthly.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good idea.
Thank you.
Did you guys vote on that last meeting?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's the pace is picking up, so there's more to do.
Yeah. Do you guys
Well, the other
post?
thing
Go for
that
it.
I noticed with the meeting too is that you guys are working well together. There's not a lot of bickering going on. You all have a common goal and you're trying to get there. That's a
Yes.
really good thing.
That has been a good thing for quite a few years now.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely. If do you guys post any of your meeting minutes on any of the websites? I've gone through Green, Sabattus's, and I know Wales doesn't have one, but like they have the planning board locations and stuff like that. I know that's been just having access to that information would probably be helpful to people too. Is that anything that you all are interested in doing, or?
Well, JD does the minutes,
Yeah. Okay.
so I don't believe he posts them anywhere.
He sent me a yeah, he sent me a
He
bunch.
emails them
Would
to
he
us.
post them if he had a platform?
I could bring it up.
Would he allow that to be posted on our? Would he allow it to be posted on our site? Or is that a
I would imagine
commission
he'd
vote
allow it,
meeting?
you know.
I mean, to be fair, it is public. It's public information, so
That's right,
yeah.
because
I would think, I would think he
he
would
emails it
consider
to
it,
us.
Yeah.
yeah. But wouldn't it be to his advantage to have more people being able to have access to what's going on? Or I would hope you didn't
Yeah.
feel threatened by more people knowing.
No.
Yeah.
So there's no threat by more people knowing.
Okay.
Well,
Honestly-
that could be a good thing too, because we got town meeting votes coming up next spring and summer.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, the more of that information that's out there for people that want to see it, at least it might be available.
Right. And it would be, the more people that see it, the better.
Yeah, I don't
Definitely.
think it being a surprise to some would be beneficial at all.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Well, now's the time to start getting the word out so that we can try to get people to go to the town meetings next year. Unfortunately, we don't live in Sabattus, so we're not eligible to vote.
Well, it's Sabattus Green in Wales,
Yeah.
Right.
but
But
you have to,
we're part-time
you can't-
residents.
yeah, you have to be a
Oh,
resident
right.
of those
You can't
towns.
vote.
If I mean, if you guys want any help with communication strategies or communication processes, I'm again more than willing to help. I've done stuff like that before. But
Well, like I say, this is the time to start thinking about it because it's only
Yeah.
6 months away. And the more the word starts getting out, the more interest are gonna draw.
and having a dam with better and finer control is certainly in the best interest of the pond itself too. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Is that gonna be remote? Can you guys control it from far away, or you guys gonna have to still go there and do it, or?
We have to still go there and do it. We can do it remote.
You guys, do you need six
With-
people or anything to do it for this new one, or is it just like pressing a button type of thing?
No, it's still manual,
Okay.
but it's a lot easier. The gates are lighter. The mechanism is new.
I mean, it's not binding up anymore?
Oh, it binds up.
Yeah, and hopefully a new one wouldn't.
A new one shouldn't. But you know, I've asked from Joe, what's the expected life of these gates and the rubber seals on them, and you know, things like that, because it's a piece of machinery and it's going to wear.
Mm.
Sure. Well, they've got a lot better materials available now too, than when that dam was put together. Hopefully it would last longer.
The gates were going to be stainless steel, so that'll last longer.
I was thinking more like seals, material for seals and that type of thing. You know, in the past 50 years, they've come up with a lot better materials.
And yeah, and I'm sure the materials are what they plan on, what materials they have now, they are putting into the new gates. But there's friction against them,
Sure.
and friction wears.
Teflon doesn't wear as much as rubber. I don't know if there's anything they can incorporate into it because I'm not an engineer, but like I say, there's been a lot of improvements in materials.
Sure, but in the gates that are there now, they have well, the old trade name is Gardeur, but it is HD high density polypropylene, I think. I'm not sure, but and that was state of the art 20 years ago when they put it in.
Sure.
And that's held up good. They're talking about another type of seal, but it doesn't matter. It's friction and it wears.
Sure. It's the nature of the beast.
Right. You've got to a depth of 10 feet. So the pressure exerted against that gate 10 feet down is substantial. Well, Lou, you did some cranking there. Was it easy?
After about 15 minutes, somebody was getting tired.
Takes 15 minutes to crank that thing up.
But more than that.
More than that.
Wow.
We took turns.
Yeah, we had quite a few of us there. Just put it in perspective, Lou. I used to do that alone.
I was just going to say, you weren't always with a bunch of people.
No. There came a time where it got down to I could do 1 foot and I was done.
How long did that take you?
Oh, I don't know. It took time. But I was a lot younger. You know, I was a lot younger. You could do more. Now I can move it I don't know, a few inches, then I sit down and take a break.
Well, there
That's why
seems to be
with
more
big-
interest now.
Is there going to be any kind of a cable and motorized system on the new dam? Or is it all gonna be manual crank like it is now?
It's gonna be manual crank, but a different type of mechanism.
Is he gonna have like
So-
counterweights or anything, or?
No,
No.
it'll be no, it'll be mechanical. Just the gear reduction. I haven't seen the gates, and I haven't seen the plans for the gates.
Yeah, you can do a lot with gear reduction. All it does is slow down
Exactly.
the movement. Makes it
Yeah.
a lot easier, but it's slower, but it's easier.
Well, from what Joe's told us, we can get a Milwaukee drill and attach it to the crank, the handle,
Yeah,
and use a drill to open and close it.
that sounds a lot easier to me.
It sounds a lot easier, yes.
I know we've got a double Sea-Doo lift on the shore that comes with a hand crank. I got 2 cordless drills. It's got a jack screw crank on each side instead of the big wheel like some of them do. But
Okay.
2 cordless drills do a great job.
Well, my boat rack has a big wheel.
Yeah, they're a lot more
And-
expensive. This one was only $800 for a double Sea-Doo lift. Plus
Really?
my son bought it, so it's his money.
Yeah, but a Sea-Doo is a light
Correct.
boat.
Yeah, no, you're right. They're only 500-600 pounds each.
Yeah, and my boat lift, the one I've got, is rated for 4,000 pounds.
Yeah,
But my
well,
boat
that's-
is over 3,000, so
yours is picking up the whole thing too, isn't it? This one just picks up one side.
oh, yeah. Yeah, but mine's also on a cantilever, so it's not
Yeah, so you got some mechanical advantage there.
we have mechanical advantage through the cantilever, yes. But it's still hard.
And pulleys, cable and pulley system gives you more. But it's still a hand crank.
Yep. Still a hand crank and it's a big wheel. So there's a lot of mechanical advantage. It just takes a lot of cranking to get it up.
Yeah,
And
No,
the
that's-
new gates are going to be the same way. For the mechanical advantage they're giving us, it's going to take a lot of
just makes it slower.
RPM.
Right.
It makes it slower.
Yeah, but if you can do it with a good cordless drill, that's huge.
Yeah, that'd be great. What I'd like to see is power to it, and you can sit
motor
here
on
on your phone and tell it to open and close.
Call up the app.
No, that's thinking in the future right there.
Oh, I'm sure it can be done. It's
Oh,
just a
we-
cost factor.
Yeah, we've already thought about it. I mean,
Oh
this has
no,
come
I
up
mean
at
that's thinking
meetings.
like for the future, like you know what I mean, for the convenience of it and the ease of it, you know.
Well, there you go. There's a mitigation.
Yeah,
You
that
add
is.
into the mitigation.
Yeah, you don't have to have 6 people come down to do it, you know. That's a barrier. So
Well,
Yeah,
it's a
because
safety thing too.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, you can easily slip and fall in the water. I mean, especially if it's a little icy.
yeah.
yeah.
I'm surprised nothing's happened in the past, Dan,
Uh,
that we know of.
well, that we know of in the past 40 years, I don't
Superman.
know of any.
Mm.
Or I haven't. Wait a minute. I'm thinking. We've had some accidents there. Nothing major, but people
Yeah,
have
but
walked
sprained
away
ankle or-
bleeding.
Sprained ankle or sprained wrist is still an incident.
I actually believe I remember some blood being shed.
Uh-oh.
You guys certainly deserve safety too when you open it.
Bring
so-
some rags with you.
Yeah. That's what it's always been. Bring
Bring some.
bring some first aid, take your handkerchief out and wrap it around it.
Yeah.
All
Um,
right. When's the next
and,
dam
you
meeting?
know-
Is it? Sorry,
What's that?
When's the next dam commission meeting? Just the first Wednesday of the month?
First Wednesday of what month are we in? October.
It'll be
First
November. It'll be November.
Okay.
First Wednesday in November.
November 1st.
November 1st. All right.
Is it always in Wales?
Yes.
Yeah, they've got a nice little conference room.
They
Seems
do.
like a good spot for it.
Any,
Yeah, we switched it to Wales a couple years ago.
Or was it before Sabattus?
Baddest.
I think does the planning board meet on Wednesdays? I think no.
It could be.
Yeah.
In Sabattus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting close to 7. Anything else going around the lake that anybody else wants to talk about, bring attention to? Any other things from the dam commission meeting anybody wants to bring up or talk about? And Dan,
All the owls are gone.
I saw a video. Yeah.
Yeah. Those were the biggest owls I've ever seen come out of this lake.
Mhm.
And they disappeared inside of 36 hours.
Are they just hanging around in that area? Like
No. Alewives, they circle the lake looking for an outlet.
Gotcha.
And it was like when we opened the dam, they left. And the next day, so we opened it at 10, and at 5 o'clock the next evening, I come home and I was looking, and there's no alewives jumping. And Gary, during the day, had gone down, and he didn't see any going through. So, yeah, but they
Oh, they
were
were
big.
active.
They were a lot bigger than anything I've seen. These things were 6 inches long.
When did they dump them in there?
In May.
In May. Okay. So they were in there
But
for a solid
they
couple
dumped
months.
in. Well, yeah, but they dump in the adults. The
Yeah.
adults, I'm told, are gone within 2 or 3 weeks. They come in, spawn, and leave. And then what leaves in the fall is the fry.
I mean, I know there was a lot of water this year, so there was water constantly going over the dam, but what do they do when the dam is, or the water is lower than the dam? Do they jump over it, or do they just
No. Oh,
Yeah.
the adults?
Yeah.
We leave the top jaw gate open 2 inches
Okay.
for a short time so they can leave.
Is that sometime in June or late May or something like that?
It's depending on when they put them in, it's 2 to 3 weeks later they leave. Basically, we give them 2 or 3 weeks to spawn.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But watching the pike go after them when they were trying to leave was interesting.
Probably a
Yeah.
feeding frenzy.
Great blue herons too. They were having a feast.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Well, all right. It is 6:58. I'll set I should be still good for next Wednesday. So I don't think that'll change. I did start my job this past week, so I do have some meetings I have to attend after hours, but I don't think I have any coming up anytime soon. So we should be good. I'll set that. Dan, I can send you an email too about kind of what we talked about here just afterwards, and then Yeah, we should be good. And I'll see you all next Wednesday. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Appreciate you all being here. I appreciate everybody watching after the fact too. Thanks again for your continued engagement. I mean, this has been great. Excellent. So
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
Okay.
you.
Nick.
no
Bye.
problem. Have a great
Bye.
night, everybody.
You too.